Now you're looking for trouble condition.
Hello and welcome to another episode of American Werewolves, where we talk all things horror. I am your co-host Brandon,
and I'm Jerry,
and we are back together in the same room. Who would have thought? And we are talking about A Quiet Place Day 1. We had watched it just a week ago. Yeah, a week ago. It just came out.
We're a little late on this.
It's a little late, but still, it is definitely one worth talking about. We are super excited to be here talking about it. For those that don't know, this is a prequel to the previous Quiet Place films that were both directed by John Krasinski. We do not have John Krasinski coming back. We have a new director, new writer, and he's decided to take us all the way back to the first day of the outbreak, day 1 in the title. If you could not put that together. Now, it's not there. Either way. It follows Lupita Nyong'o. I'm so sorry, I'm butchering their name. That was awful. And Joseph Quinn. Yeah, Joseph Quinn. These two who end up running into each other just in the midst of the breakout of these aliens that, come down to Earth. And the moment you make a sound, they will be charging towards you. And before you can even turn around asking what the hell is happening, you're done for. Now, this is a concept. Is that an airplane? Yeah. This was a concept that I was very intrigued by, because when you watch Quiet Place 1 and 2, you're already in the shit. It's been like, what, a year or so after the events of the outbreak that we're following Emily Blunt, John Krasinski, and all those characters.
In the first one, I thought it was like a few years after.
It was like day 200 something or 300.
Oh, you're right. It is day 2. Okay. Yeah. No, you're right.
So
it's
maybe
a little under a year.
Yeah, a little under a year. So it's, and we were always curious. Like, we kept hearing them talk about what happened day 1, but now we actually get to see what happened, at least in New York, which happens to be the loudest city in America. Like, yeah, not the best place to be around aliens that are very attracted to sound. So we follow these two as they kind of go around the city trying to navigate all the horrors that's happening, all the things they're going through. And I'm going to be honest, this movie was not what I expected it to be at all. The trailer marketed a big action set piece that was going to take place in the city. This film has a bigger budget than the first 2 movies. So, I thought it was going to be a lot more mayhem and stuff happening within this apocalypse that's starting to go down. Instead, we get a character piece following these 2 characters and the journey they kind of go through with each other as they're navigating the horrors. It focuses a lot on their background and what they're doing, what they're going through, what was happening before, shit hit the fan. And it was not what I was expecting, but it was something that I was so glad that I got. I absolutely love this movie.
Yeah, it's not what I was expecting going into it, but it's better than what I was expecting. It is. I'm glad we got what we got. It's not a action horror, or it's not like a horror that's meant to scare you. It is very much a character-driven film. It's very emotional. And it's weird to say it for a horror film, but it's a beautiful film. Like, the story and the goals of these characters and how these two find each other and what they do for each other, and what they do for each other's journey throughout the film. It's a very emotional, beautiful movie.
Yeah, it's pretty heart-wrenching as it goes on once you start learning about the situations and their backgrounds and what they've gone through. Lupita Nyong'o, she is going through an illness. I won't get too into details, and she really just wants pizza. She wants to. I mean, it's pretty early on that's what she's looking for. That's her goal. She wants to. She just wants to enjoy her remaining days on this earth. And it kind of starts going to shit. Well, obviously, you got aliens dropping down and invading, and she's already a type of character who's very cynical, very, very big pessimist. She just wants to be alone, and she wants to be alone. She wants to enjoy her time on her own. She has her own goals. Then you have Joseph Quinn, who she meets as the movie progresses, and he's the complete opposite. He doesn't want to be alone. He's afraid of being alone. And she's already, like, for the first few minutes, she's already annoyed with him. She doesn't want anything to do with anyone. And to watch their relationship go to the place where it goes by the end was just so refreshing, so nice. It was something we never really got to see in the previous two movies. It's something we don't really see in these type of movies in general, which I appreciated a lot. The director of this film, could you look it up? Because I'm drawing a blank, and I really want to put his name out there. Very, very talented man. He directed the film Pig, which starred Nicolas Cage and also had Alex Wolff, who's also in this film.
Michael Sarnowski.
Sarnowski, yes. You need to put his name out there because he's a very, very great filmmaker. This is his second film, I think. The first one being Pig. Pig was another film which it was advertised as a revenge thriller, and it ended up being a character piece, and it was something that made me love it so much. And I was curious what he was going to do with this one. I kind of had a feeling it was definitely going to focus on characters pretty heavy, just seeing his previous work, and it did. And if anything, I actually think I enjoyed the message that he had with these characters in this film over Pig. Not saying Pig was bad, but still. It was just something I wasn't expecting in this franchise. It's a big swing for a franchise to not go the route where most would, which is just big action, make it a big spectacle, just push it all the way up. And he had the budget to do that. He clearly did. And he just said, no, I want to focus on these people and what they do for each other and how they help each other survive this apocalypse, this wasteland that is slowly but surely going to shit. It was truly amazing. But those two aren't the only characters we're following in this film. We're also following her cat named Frodo, which, funny enough, her name is Sam and her cat's name is Frodo. That is clearly like a Lord of the Rings reference. You could not tell me otherwise. You couldn't convince me that wasn't a nice little nod that Michael and crew were going for. So I thought that was a nice little Easter egg. That cat is the real star of this movie for me. This cat, you're gonna have not gonna lie, you're gonna have to suspend your disbelief a little bit when watching this movie just for that cat alone, because this, like most cats, if they're being presented in these dire, crazy situations where you're forced to be quiet or a giant monster will eat you, most cats, I feel like they be snarling, they be meowing, they be going nuts. This cat is so chill, and I loved every second of it.
He's also too smart. He's human smart to where he kind of slight spoiler. The cat is the reason. Turn this off if you don't want to spoil.
Just turn the volume off for a minute.
Yeah, the cat's the reason they find each other. But it's the scene. I was like, when that scene happened, I was like, all right. There are a few scenes with the cat where I'm like, okay, come on.
Yeah. No, the cat is way too smart. Smarter than these humans trying to survive the apocalypse half the time. It felt very video gamey. If you heard of that video game Stray with the cat roaming around in this wasteland trying to survive, I haven't played it myself, but
he's trying to solve a murder mystery. I think.
What?
I think that's the plot of the game. You're a cat trying to solve a murder mystery. I'm fairly certain that's the plot of the game.
Please look that up. That'd be crazy. Because honestly, alone, just for the cat in this movie, I was like, I would kind of like to watch a Quiet Place movie where it just follows this cat. And maybe it just went through different survivors during the first few days of this apocalypse, this outbreak. I feel like that would be absolutely insane. That's what I kept thinking throughout the whole time, because that's how awesome the cat is in this movie. Now, a lot of people already know it's going to bother them. They're thinking like, no, this is too ridiculous. This is insane. This would never happen. It's, at the end of the day, it's just a movie, guys. I think, it just depends on the type of viewer I guess you are, like the type of preferences you want, and when it comes to your movie. So take that for what you will. But I loved it. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The cat is the star of this movie.
Yeah. Stray, I don't know if it's a murder mystery, but the cat is, you're solving something. It's like a detective cat game.
I heard they were trying to adapt that into a movie at some point. So maybe bring that cat back for that. I'm putting it out there, Hollywood. Get that cat back if you want to do a Stray movie. Now, I also say there wasn't a lot of action in the movie, but there still is a good amount of scenes in there that I honestly thought had really, really great tension in it. Like the initial outbreak where she's on the bus and then it goes down from there, and it's just all smoke covered in the air due to the accidents and the debris that had fallen, and you're just kind of like getting whiplash from like the attack suddenly happening in that. I thought that was a really cool sequence. There's a sequence that involves going down to the subway that I thought was fun, even though there was like, again, it goes back to that suspension of disbelief that I talked about earlier. We'll get to that in a second, but still really good, very tense. I thought every scene that involved these creatures was tense, and they were very fun and well filmed. Acting, of course, is great. Lupita, she's great in everything I've seen her in. I haven't really seen her give a bad performance. I'm glad she gets to star in a movie like this, because I feel like she definitely needs a little more attention. Like, because the only thing I can think of that has given her, that she's been in a lot, is just the Avengers films. I believe so.
What do you mean? Wait, like what?
Like she's only done like these like small bit parts in like Avengers and stuff like that.
What do you mean? Us?
Yeah. Oh, and aside from that, yeah, I mean, there's us. Us, I didn't.
She
I
is
forgot.
us, like.
Yeah, that is that. I honestly forgot about that movie. I forgot she was the star in it. I was thinking more of like, she had a performance in what the hell's that movie? Widows, I believe.
I don't know.
It was like it had her and a bunch of other female actresses in it. She also did a horror comedy known as Little Monsters, which I thought was a lot of fun. Yeah, damn, that's crazy. I completely forgot about like her being in Us and stuff like that. But then again, I think we talked about this the other day. No, we didn't. I was talking about it with other friends, saying like out of all the Jordan Peele movies, that was my least favorite.
Really?
Yeah, no, that one's my least favorite.
Nope.
Bottom of the barrel.
Nope is my least.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no, for me it's Get Out, Nope, and Us. Straight up. I don't know. Us was not, off track a little bit. Us was not what I thought it was going to be. I really thought Us was going to be something else.
I think the plot twist of Us was fucking insane.
Oh no, that plot twist is good. It is really
for
good.
Me, Nope. I was more interested in the monkey
Yeah.
in Nope than I was the actual alien.
Yeah, I can see that too. For me, Nope was it was a spectacle horror movie in the same vein as like Jaws was. I felt like I felt like Nope was Jaws, but with an alien in the sky instead of a shark in the water. A monster in the sky versus monster in the water. That's why, and it just was a lot more fun than Us, I guess. Though Us, Us has its great moments.
It wasn't supposed to be fun though.
Nope wasn't supposed to be?
No, Us.
I guess, yeah.
Us wasn't a fun movie. It was a creepy fucking
Yeah,
film.
well, I mean, so was Get Out.
I also like that. I also like Us because it's fucking it's unsettling. It's creepy as shit.
Yeah.
Nope isn't.
You haven't seen Get Out yet, though.
I still haven't seen
Ah,
Get Out.
there it is. There it fucking is.
We can watch it. We can watch it tonight.
I'm down. I'm down to watch some Get Out because that's one that's been on the list for a while for you. You need to check it out.
It's one of those films where I'm like, God, I want to fucking see it, and I just I've never sat down to actually watch it.
It's so good. Like that is still Jordan Peele's best. I mean, hell, he won best Oscar for best original screenplay for that. It is
it's
definitely.
It's not the point where like I know what happens. I know what the film is. I just need to actually sit down because it's been so long.
I get it too though, because there's the times where people will tell me to watch a movie and a show, and they'll be like, "You have to watch it. You have to watch it. It's so good." Blah blah blah, and it's like it makes me
like,
just want to put it off even more. Like, I know, like, Squid Games, I was like that for a long time too, until eventually I had to be sat down to watch it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, it actually is up to the hype. Like, this is kind of insane.
I know it's going to be an incredible film.
You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
know,
And I know you're going to be like, we're hopping on camera tomorrow and we're going to be talking about this.
I know. I know what it is already because it's been out for so long. I just need to actually sit down and see it.
Yeah.
But back to A Quiet Place.
Back to A Quiet Place. Yeah, Lupita, she's great and everything. Joseph Quinn, he's fairly new to the scene. He's known for playing Eddie Munson in Stranger Things Season 4. Really good in that show. No way you could have convinced me he's a teenager in that still, though. Yeah, it's Stubbles, bro.
Hold on. But I think in the 80s, people looked like young, like people in high school looked older in the 80s than people in high school do, to an extent. I think
to an extent, for sure.
I think to an extent because I think now the younger generation is starting to look older.
Yeah.
As they're, I feel like millennial, like our like age group.
Yeah.
We look younger than maybe high schoolers in like the 80s did, but I feel like high
Yes.
schoolers starting now
Oh yeah, they kind of
are
look
starting to look a little older.
They're drinking their milk.
Yeah, going full circle. But I did read something where it was like we associate like people from the 80s still wear and sometimes do their hair like they still did like when they were kids, and we see that and we associate that with an older look.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why people back then look older to us.
It could be that too. I also feel like it's a lot of the movies from back in that era that kind of convince us of
Casting like grown ass people like fucking Grease.
like Grease, dude.
But I also think just with just skincare products, we tend to look younger now. But also, I think younger people, like Emma was showing me a video this morning, skincare products have gotten so insane that people who are super young are using them, and it's like rapidly aging them. Like she showed me this girl was like 13 and she looked
That's
like fucking
creepy.
30.
Isn't there a horror movie based on that coming out?
Back to fucking day one.
No, hold on.
God damn.
Zoe Dush is coming out in a movie. I think that's kind of similar. I think it's her.
I don't know.
When I find out, I will post about it.
We've gotten so off track on this.
I know.
But yes, he doesn't look like a high schooler.
Yeah, it doesn't. And thankfully, he's
does.
not a high schooler here.
No, he is. He's in college.
Yes.
He's in law school.
Law school. He's from the UK, and he is away from family. He doesn't know anyone in New York and in America. He's all on his own. And then the apocalypse happens, and now he's even more alone. And that's why he latches onto Lupita's character, Sam, because he just needs somebody, especially in this dire situation.
Yeah.
And I thought he was really good too. For someone who hasn't really been around in the acting scene for that long, like he's just in Stranger Things. He just got cast as Johnny Storm in the upcoming Fantastic Four movie with Pedro Pascal. And he's here and he's going to be in another movie coming out. Oh, shoot. It is. I just saw a photo of him in it. Gladiator. The Gladiator 2. He's going to be in that. So it's awesome, to see him getting good work. I thought he was really good in this film. Very, very good.
Phenomenal.
I think this is the one where he's definitely going to get more work, especially I think in the horror genre.
He pissed me off at moments, but
a lot of the time he pissed me off. But it's one of those things where like these characters don't make questionable choices, but it makes sense with who they are in the context of the film and in the story. Like it works. It's the type of pissing you off that's good for the movie.
Yep.
So, and oh man, I forgot. I want to give a shout out to Alex Wolff in this movie. Now, he doesn't do much when shit starts hitting the fan. He's not in it as much. A lot of these characters they tend to separate due to one situation or another.
The movie is mainly just them.
But yeah, it's mainly these two, and I really, really liked him in this movie. I wish I wish that we got to learn a little more about his friendship with Sam in this, but
I don't think there was much more to learn about it.
yeah, there was.
He's her not counselor, but she's in a hospice home, and he's like her.
His like her caretaker,
Like, yeah,
I guess.
her
Not even
nurse.
caretaker. He's just kind of. He's like the friend of like a group of like a of like a hospice that she's living at with a bunch of these other people. I wouldn't say they're the caretaker, but they look out for them. They listen to them. They want to help them out in any way they can.
And of course, when you're in that position, all of the patients are your friend, and that's how he describes himself to her. He's like, "I'm your friend," and she's very much like, she doesn't have. It doesn't seem like she really has family. She doesn't have really any friends, and that's why she's very, in the beginning, she's very cynical. She's very lonely, and that is part of her journey with Joseph Quinn here. But I don't think there's much more to learn because it's his job. He's
Yeah.
nice to her. Yes, he may like her as a person.
Yeah.
But I think what we saw is really all there is to it.
I guess, yeah. I just like, I don't know, maybe a part of me was, maybe because I just like Alex Wolff as an actor a lot, I was just like, I really would have liked to seen where like they could have gone with their friendship and the relationship there. But Joseph Quinn comes in, and at first I was really not vibing with the character until you start to really learn like where he's coming from, and then the two characters just journeying together, it just made them both so much better. These characters, they kind of they maybe aren't the most likable in the beginning, but you learn to love them by the very end, especially by the last shot, which the final act of this movie I thought was very, very satisfying.
Yes.
It also has a character which I won't spoil if you haven't seen the trailer or this movie yet, but they have a character from the second film who is here, and you don't see him much, but you briefly get to see his situation, how he came about into the second film, and I feel like a lot of that, the things that happen in this movie could potentially tie into A Quiet Place Part 3, because we are for sure getting a Part 3.
Oh, yeah, they confirmed that?
They confirmed it. We got Emily Blunt and other actors and actresses coming back for that third film. Which I believe will wrap up the story there, because the way that movie ends, like, there definitely is room for more. Like, it just kind of ends.
At least for Emily Blunt, because I feel like A Quiet Place is like a thing that you could do. It's just a world.
It is a world for sure.
You could tell so many stories.
You could. I would honestly love to watch a series based off of this, where you can see all these different stories happening. There's also a video game coming out for this movie too, which we just saw the trailer for, which looks like a lot of fun. Yeah. So for a lot of you PlayStation 5 fans,
I had this fucking guy
at
work.
Oh god.
Go, hey man, did you watch A Quiet Place? I was like, yeah, and he was like, what'd you think? I was like, oh man, I loved it. I thought it was so great. And he goes, I thought it was all right. I was like, what didn't you like about it? He was like, nobody really talks. I was like, I'm sorry? And he goes, there's not, nobody really says anything. I was like, yeah, man, that's the fucking point of the movie. He's like, I mean, I know, but like, it's called boring, you know?
Oh,
like,
shit.
No.
That's great. It's in the fucking name.
That's like coming out of the Friday the 13th and being like, I didn't like it because there was just...
I wanted it to be Saturday. Yeah.
People were dying. What the fuck? Like...
It's Friday, you're getting off work. People don't need that shit. Oh, that's great. That's funny. Now, I mean, that does kind of bring up a good point, because there is very minimal dialogue in this movie, except for maybe the first 10 minutes. And I can see that annoying a lot of people, that it's just quiet and you have to focus on people's body language or reading their lips. There's no subtitles really helping. In the first two movies, you had, the little girl in that movie, she's using sign language, so they have subtitles there for you to look at so you can understand like the conversation these characters are having. A lot of sign language is being used. In this movie, there's none of that. It's just body language, and when they can talk in like places where there's like already a lot of noise, like maybe water, for example. And there's a scene in this movie where Lupita goes under a fountain to talk to two characters, and they can speak low, not normal volume maybe, but you can still, that's like one of the few conversations you hear throughout this film. So, I mean, I can see that annoying people, but again, it's a quiet place. These monsters, you make a sound, you're done for. So, know that going in, I guess. There's not going to be a lot of noise. So, I guess there's a few spoilers I want to talk about.
Okay.
Not much. But I really enjoyed this movie. If you're a fan of this franchise, definitely check this out. Definitely see it in the theater with the crowd. It is... Well, I don't know if this is my favorite. I think I still like the first one a lot more because it's the first. You can't really beat the original in a franchise, especially a horror franchise. But this is definitely up there. I would kind of put it in its own separate little category because it's very different from part 1 and part 2 in a good way. It's not what a lot of people will be expecting with this franchise, especially with the trailer. If you see the trailer, it feels like a whole different movie you're getting. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely worth checking out for performances alone, for a few tense sequences, and for a beautiful character study on people that are simply trying to survive. And, someone that's trying to survive and someone that doesn't really, that's at the end of their rope and they don't really care what happens. They just want a goal to accomplish their goal. So, yeah, I would say definitely check it out. We are going to be discussing spoilers from here on out. Not too many, honestly. Just a few things I like to mention, a few scenes. So, you have been warned. I love the ending. Yeah. I liked how Joseph Quinn got away. That was a very tense sequence when he's running from the creatures and Lupita does those distractions and he ends up jumping off into the water. They can't reach him, and he gets on that boat with Jimanu Hudson, I believe his name is.
I have no idea.
Yeah, he's an actor that was in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. He's also in A Quiet Place Part 2. So I guess, it was good to see his little connection for how he went from New York to I believe the island or area that they were in Part 2. Did you watch that? Forgot if you've seen it or not. Yeah. Oh, you have to watch it, yeah. But yeah, it makes me think that Joseph Quinn will pop up in Part 3. Due to him surviving the events of this film. We didn't see any hints of that character in part 2, so I'd be curious to see how they worked it.
It'd be very interesting to see how he changes as well as a character.
I think that would be very, very fun.
Because he's in this film, as is everybody, because it's day one, but he's very, there are moments in the film where he stops, moving because he's having a panic attack. Because shit is just crazy around him. Yeah. And I kind of would like to see him in part 3 to see that change of maybe someone who's who's now dealt with this for a year now and knows what to do and is more confident.
More confident, more secure, way more able to fight back and survive if need be.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I definitely think we'll get more of him if he wants to sign on for a part 3. I love that scene, and I like the ending, I guess, when Lupita wants to stay behind because her whole goal throughout the movie is that she just wants a slice of pizza. That was something that she got with her dad, who ended up passing away when she was younger, and she feels like this would be something she needs to do before her ultimate passing. She is constantly taking meds. She's not going to get better, especially now that hospitals are down. Even with everything working, it seemed like she was at the end of it.
Well, yeah, she...
They're just trying to make it easier.
Yeah, she is dying. It's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. She doesn't leave the hospice center, and so all she wants now that she's outside of the hospice center is she knows, she's never going to be able to get these meds again because the world has gone to hell. Her goal is just to get a slice of pizza from the place that her dad always took her to because she just wants to live one last time. Yeah. She has been spending such a long time in this hospice center, kind of just dying in a room, and she just wants to feel what life feels like just one last time before she goes.
Which it leads to one of my favorite scenes in the movies where they make it to a bar, and she starts to learn that the pizza place she wanted to go to, it got destroyed.
Yep.
And Joseph Quinn finds another pizza shop, and he ends up coming back with a half a pie of pizza, and he writes the name of the original pizza spot she wanted to go to. I believe it was like Patsy's or something.
Yeah.
And they just enjoy a slice of pizza together, and she really appreciates him so much for that. And they kind of have this moment where he has her go on stage, and he does like magic tricks with his cards, or like for fake cards and stuff. And it was just a great moment to see from where they had gone before to now. It was, I don't know, it was very sweet.
Yeah.
Very, very sweet. And it made the actual ending pretty heartbreaking when she is by herself in the city. She's walking around. She's got her headphones playing her music. And she decides at the end when she's just about ready, because I guess, she ran out of the meds that she needed to get by.
I don't think she ran out of them to get by. I think that scene is very shortly after. It's clearly very shortly after Joseph Quinn escapes.
Okay.
I
thought it was
think-
like a day or so.
I don't think so. I think what it is she is fully aware that she's dying, and now that the world is shit, there's no way in hell she's gonna survive fighting all this. And if she knows she's dying, why try to fight it? Why try to survive against these aliens?
She'd be miserable if she made it out with Joseph Quinn.
Yeah,
If she was in safety, she would be absolutely miserable.
And she wanted to live one more time. She got that. She is ready to die.
Yeah.
And from the beginning of the film,
She was ready.
from the beginning, I knew that's exactly what was going to happen at the end.
I had a feeling that's where it was going to.
I knew she was not going to make it out, not because of some tragic thing that happens and she accidentally gets killed. I knew she was going to sacrifice herself or kill herself because her story she was going to get what she wanted in the end. She's ready to die. I don't think it was a matter of her running out of the meds. I think it was she got what she wanted and she's ready.
Right. I wasn't saying it was just that. Obviously, I knew she was ready to die. I just figured, she was going to try to hold out until that was done to, maybe do, I don't know, something else she wanted to do that we didn't see. But yeah, she ends up walking in the city, middle of the city. She pulls out the headphone jack from her phone or speaker, I believe, whatever she's listening to music, and it's playing it out loud. And then you see an alien monster just jump down behind her, and it cuts to black before you see anything else, implying she clearly got her shit rocked. Now, very, 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 very emotional ending. Very, very satisfying. And, it's bleak, but it works for what this franchise is, for what the story is, it works. So, that was definitely one of the more believable scenes. I want to go to some things that were a little over the top where I was like, no way. And I know you agree with me on this one too. It's that scene in the subway where she has the cat and they're going underwater and they're being sucked in underwater for a long time.
They're underwater for a
long damn time, and they make it out, and the cat is just fine. Cat just shakes it off, and he's like, "Let's go, Sam."
When they're under, because they're floating the cat on they have a makeshift raft there, and then they go underwater, but it's just her and Joseph Quinn underwater. You don't see the cat.
I thought she grabbed the cat.
Did she grab it?
She grabbed the cat and dragged it underwater.
Never mind. I thought I didn't see that.
No, but even then, I was like, they're underwater for a while. That cat's not even it's just
the cat makes it out pretty okay.
It's all right, come on, come on.
When we first get
your steps
introduced to
in.
Joseph Quinn, the cat, he finds the cat, and then he follows the cat because the cat starts to walk away, and the cat leads Joseph Quinn to her, but the cat runs away. It's right when shit hits the fan. The aliens have landed.
Yeah.
Shit's going crazy.
Yeah.
The cat knows where she is after running away from her. It's just very okay.
It's
it's a little after the shit hits the fan. Actually,
it's almost the halfway point of the movie. I think.
Actually,
where it's everyone is quietly trying to evacuate the city by walking in silence. Which I was like, there's no way this is gonna work. Someone's gonna mess up.
And then,
but yeah, that was another one where I was like, okay.
Joseph Quinn goes to find her medicine.
Yeah, very shortly after the scene where they were like traveling underwater,
Yeah.
and she kind of goes unconscious for a little bit.
He makes it all the way to this hospital, and then he hears a noise, and he turns around, and the cat found him. Like he followed him.
No,
whole
the
way?
cat was with them the whole time.
Was it?
No, actually,
No,
no,
it
it
wasn't 'cause
wasn't.
he's surprised.
Because he was at the pharmacy, he found the meds, and then all of a sudden he freaks out, and then he sees it's just a cat behind him. You're
Yeah.
right. And it was like, okay, I guess, yep, he was on his ass the whole time. And then they're leaving together, but then the cat decides, oh, I want to venture out here for a little side quest. And this is the only time we actually get a little more lore with these aliens, but we don't really get much information on it, and it never goes back to it. So if you're watching this movie and you were looking for a little more like origin behind these creatures, you're not going to get it. You maybe get a little extra something that they do, but it's nothing you haven't seen before in like an alien movie. Like, it really doesn't go into it. So if that's what you were looking for, you're going to be disappointed in that aspect.
But I don't really see how, like, if the world has gone to shit and there's like nothing left, like, it makes sense that we don't know anything about these, because would we ever find out, Like,
Yeah, you're right. You wouldn't find out. It depends on the story, I guess. If you're like following the military for one movie, maybe that's one thing.
Plot
But
armor.
yeah, exactly. Just plot armor.
Um,
But yeah, I just really wanted to talk about that ending and that scene I really loved between Lupita and Joseph. I thought it was very, very well done, very well executed. I love this movie. It is definitely one of my favorites of the year so far, up there. I think it is not as good as the first movie. I would have to rewatch the second to see where that one stands, because it's been a while. But yeah, I think this is definitely worth checking out. And I think once the third one comes out, and that one ends up being good, we're gonna have these, for this franchise where every movie is just on point, and it really, we get another great horror franchise.
yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. I think it's a beautiful story about just friendship.
Yes.
And it was definitely not what I was expecting going into it, and I'm so glad even though it's not what I expected, I'm so glad it's what we got.
Yes. What would you give this movie?
I would give it a 8.5 out of 10.
I would say the same page for me. 8.5. Very, very good. One of the great horror movies of the year. But I think that's all, unless you have anything else to add.
No.
So that's all we have on A Quiet Place Day 1. If you guys saw it, what did you think about it? Did you like it more than part 1 and 2? Did you not like this one so much? Were you, disappointed? Were you
Were
expecting
you
something
mad
else?
that there was no talking?
Yeah, were you mad that there was no talking? Were you annoyed with the cat? That was not a cat. It was definitely a person. Either way, comment down below. Let us know. Hit that like and subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram and on TikTok at American Werewolves. Once again, I am Brandon.
I am Carrie.
Stay spooky.
You should not go looking for trouble.